Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're joining us for the first time. Now if you're not joining us for the first time, then today may seem a little bit like deja vu. Because we're going to go back in time again to about 2013 and the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters line when we look at this guy. It is the Night Shadow Bumblebee. I guess he trained to become a ninja. I don't know, but he looks pretty cool. Stick around because he's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. Join the community here. Have your say. And we have this guy. So we've sort of already looked at this mold. And this is really just a repaint of it. So this is going to be a fairly quick one. I'm going to show the transformation going in the other direction. Just so I kind of have from robot to vehicle and from vehicle to robot covered. I said before that I actually really like this version of Bumblebee. It's not that I'm a huge Bumblebee fan, because I'm not. But he's had so many toy incarnations that I have to be honest and say not all of them have been stellar. In fact, a lot of them really haven't. But this mold done a lot of things right, and I didn't think I could like it anymore. And then of course we get it with a much sleeker paint scheme, and he looks great in both modes. So let's get him into his vehicle mode, and that's kind of where we'll start things when we head over to the table. And again we're back with the Sea of B. Now I actually have one more here that I didn't have the last time we looked at the kind of original paint scheme used for the Beast Hunters incarnation of Bumblebee. Can you pick out which one I missed last time? Maybe not. So, really quickly, here's the Titans Return Bumblebee, my custom painted version of this guy, who I like. He stands as my bee. I looked at him in episode 257. This little figurine version, I believe I looked at in episode 49. This is the earlier Generations Legends version that I actually really like. And I looked at him in episode 114 a long time ago. We have this movie-verse version. This is from Age of Extinction, but it's a mold that's been used by my count no less than 21 times. And I looked at it back in episode 282. Then we have this KO animated version, and it's for $2. It's surprisingly good, and I looked at it in full in episode 220. I even looked at an Action Master version, though I don't have that here now. Back in episode, and I looked at a few Action Masters actually, back in episode 164. I mean, Action Masters, whoever talks about Action Masters anymore? Then we have this guy. It is a Cyberverse Legion Bumblebee, not Legends, Legion Bumblebee that I looked at in episode 316. We have the kind of War for Cybertron version. It was repainted here and included as part of the Rage Over Cybertron box set. I looked at that in full in episode 236. He is complicated to get from one mode to the other. Looks kind of cool though. Next up we have the high-octane version of Bumblebee from Transformers Age of Extinction. He has a lot of black on him, and he probably most closely resembles the Night Shadow version of the Transformers Prime Bumblebee that we're going to look at today. But I looked at this guy in full in episode 62 a long time ago. Of course, no conversation about Bumblebees would be complete if we didn't mention MPB, who I looked at in episode 273. And And finally, most recently, I looked at this guy. It is the original repaint of the mold that we're going to focus on today. Now, when I looked at this guy, I scored him very high because it's a great figure. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's one of the few Bumblebees that I can actually say that I truly like. But it's not the only version that we got. So we're going to take him out of it. And then there was one. And how sleek does this guy look? I mean, the mold got repainted, reused in the Predacons Rising subline with more blue on it. And I think that was called like Nova Strike or something like that. But I think of all of the variants for this mold, I believe I like this one the best. Now, when I first saw this color scheme, I thought to myself, I'm not so sure that I dig this because he doesn't really look like this. That being said, in Season 3, he did end up changing his color scheme to incorporate more black. It's not exactly this, of course, and certainly even on the program he never had like these silver bladed, I guess, pieces, spiky pieces, or these silver spiky pieces, or these blue ones, though one of the blue spiky pieces is broken off. This isn't mine, this belongs to the Scraplets. However, he did end up going even darker than that during Predacons Rising. If you didn't see Bumblebee there, I think that he may even have incorporated a little bit more black there. This still isn't quite right. The head here has too much black. There are some yellow apps that are missing, but it's pretty good. I would say overall, being indicative of the animation, he's about an 8. But just on coolness, because we don't have black and yellow mixed here, we actually have black and gold, I'm going to give it a 10. I think this looks so sleek. I absolutely love it. That's the subjective me. The 10 is subjective me. The objective me says it's about an 8. It's not bad, but not perfect. He does roll fantastic here. And just like the other version, he comes with a multitude of accessories, which was surprising for the time. I mean, I wouldn't have expected it. I certainly wouldn't expect it today. The first of which is, and we'll look at these a little bit later on Bumblebee, but I kind of showed them up close when we did the other version. This time we have blue for these missile pods and the missile pod holder. All of this was black on the original repaint, and it goes into a slot on the door like that. And we have another one of those that goes into a slot on the other door, exact same thing. These are just holders. It's nothing really special, I guess. You know, they look cool. I think that it's a nice color playing against the black to sort of break it up a bit. So put that there, and you can see now how both of them look. We have a gold blaster. Now, he came with 2 gold blasters. They will go in his arms, and they look like, you know, like this. It's just a gold version of the silver, well, gray blaster that came with the regular Bumblebee. We only have one of these blasters. I guess the Scraplets lost them over time, but they would, by rights, go together like this. You can really see how they're together there now with the 2 different colors. The bottom one, the gray one, comes from the regularly painted version, and they go into a slot here on the hood like that. And the final accessory really is just a repaint of this thing. It is black and blue. It's a projectile launcher, and it just looks like this. I have one projectile held up here. There's a slot for another one. I have one projectile in the launcher, and there's a little blue button back here. When you press that, it fires it out, and the spring on it is actually quite strong. If you want to store both of the projectiles, you certainly can. And we have a little peg here that goes into a slot on the roof of this guy. And in the end, there you go. He is all armed up and ready to hunt beasts or Decepticons or whatever. It looks cool, and I kind of buy it here because the whole vehicle mode is kind of armored up anyway. So I like this. I totally dig this look. Now, we're going to take all of that off of him again, and we're going to quickly run through the conversion to get to his robot mode. Remember, already we're saying that the paint is an 8. For me personally, it's a 10, but we're saying the paint is an 8. It's a strong start. These accessories also really help the cause. So, removing this and these, and those on the doors, we're left with this. It is our basic mode. So, to convert this guy, it's actually pretty easy. We can sort of bring down the two arms to get them out of the way, and that allows us to really open the doors on both sides. And we can unpeg the roof section. It really pegs in. There are two little tabs back here that go into two little rectangular slots back here. That's really what holds it into place. But you can, bring that just backing out of the way. And then comes the brilliant part of this. And I'm just going to reposition things so we can see this clearly. So with the other Bumblebee, I showed it going one way. Now I'm going to show it going the other way. The automorph feature. When we kind of start to push this centerpiece up, the chest will sort of morph, and these front tires, which are really his shoulders, will kind of automatically swing out to the side. So we start to bring this whole piece back, and all of that happens automatically. We can straighten up his body down here and the backpack there, and bring the head all the way back. And the door wings are where they should be. The arms are really where they should be. Everything is kind of where it should be. I absolutely dig it. You can sort of turn the arms forward there. Oop. Get all that kind of lined up there. And that's what we have so far for the conversion. Now it's just to do the legs, and to do them, you really just pull them all the way down, pull them all the way down, straighten up his feet, and straighten up his feet. And you can stand him up. Let's get him a little more centered, shall we? Now I know I really kind of flew through the conversion there, largely because it's more challenging to see things in black than it is in the yellow of the original repaint. But again, we've already kind of seen it. The bottom line is this. The legs you just, bring apart and unfold. The arms you kind of just bring down from car mode, and then you flip up the centerpiece of the grill to reveal the head, to morph the chest in this configuration, and to open out these shoulder pieces. Now, I mean, if you want, I guess you can push those shoulder pieces back a little bit more. But man, does this guy look glorious in this color scheme. I absolutely love the way that the gold and the black and this bit of blue, along with the silver, plays off of each other. It's a great scheme. In terms of articulation, it's exactly the same as what we saw before. The head can go left and right. The arms can go, out about that far. The shoulders can go forget that arm out of the way, all the way around. We have an elbow to 90 degrees. We don't have anything at the wrist or the waist. We have a knee bend to 90 degrees, all the way forward, all the way backward. The feet can tilt forward and back. He has excellent stability. We have a thigh swivel, and we have full splitsability. And even with all of the kind of car parts on this guy and what you could probably call kibble, it actually really doesn't hurt him, like, at all. He looks great. Now, I have him sort of bent down here, but he looks pretty fantastic. And here he is with all of his accessories on. By the way, I didn't mention it, but in between the two parts of the front grille, there's a nice silver tampographed Autobot logo. It looks really good and it ties in nicely with the rest of the figure. And again, he looks fantastic here. Very poseable. I mean, you can get some dynamic poses with the guy because he is so solid. Now, before I finish grading him, I want to say that the earlier use of this mold was repainted and released as Transformers Prime Hotshot. And it seems like Hotshot is a name that just sort of arbitrarily gets used when they don't know what else to call someone. In Age of Extinction, a Crosshair's repaint was called Hotshot, and we all know that it was Trax, the movie version of Trax. This repaint in vehicle mode was definitely the Transformers Prime version of Trax, with being all blue and a yellow and red flame deco on it. The robot version, as pointed out to me actually by Master Fire, friend of the channel, and I kind of didn't notice it before, but now I can't help but see it. The robot version especially is undoubtedly the Transformers Prime version of the character of Skids. It's very reminiscent to G1 Skids. That being said, it is also a fantastic figure. I've been asked, am I going to review that one? I'm not, because I don't have it, but we'll kind of just talk about it now in kind of the context of this guy. So the paint apps for this guy are an 8. The paint apps for the Hotshot version, this one's just for you, Master Fire. I would say, in terms of being a Hotshot, it's a 1, a 2. It does not make me think of any incarnation of Hotshot, really. But in terms of being a version of either Trax or Skids, I would say that it's a solid 8. I totally see where the homage is coming from. In terms of articulation, it'd be nice if this guy had a waist. I assume that the Hotshot version does not have a waist either. I'm going to say that the articulation is a solid 9.25. It's really good overall. And the transformation, that's still a 10. No doubt in my mind. So, how does this be compare with the other version that we looked at, the regularly painted one? It's very, very close. I like the paint on this one better. When we're talking about grading, there's no difference really. They're about the same. But when we're talking about just the cool factor of which one looks better, for me personally, this guy's just going to eke out the win. Maybe that's not the case for you. So what about that Hotshot version that I don't have, but that we're sort of touching on here? Overall, I think that's a good figure as well. I don't think it's Hotshot as I really picture him in any fiction I've encountered with the name, but I respect the homages that it makes. So I like it for what it is. Anyway, here is a strong figure, in my opinion, a very strong figure, that came out in the Beast Hunters line, that is a version of Bumblebee that kind of looks like he's been trained to be a ninja, who is definitely ready to go into battle, and I can buy him as a warrior. What can I say? Here's one version of Bumblebee that wins for me. And here we are once again. What can I say? You know, you just saw yourself that I really dig a lot of the things with this guy. I like the fact that we have gold, actual gold used instead of the typical yellow for Bumblebee. I think it really plays nicely against the black. Even having the metallic blue, teal type of, you know, things and the silver detailing down there, it looks fantastic. I think he looks really striking. And that's kind of why I scored him as high as I did. Of course, when I first saw this, I had no idea what it was homaging. And I sort of, you know, had to look it up and saw that, yeah, it's kind of close to what he was in Season 3. I think probably even closer to how he appeared in Predacons Rising, as I said. And for that reason, I kind of have a whole new appreciation for this paint scheme. Now, this mold was, of course, used a few other times, as previously mentioned, and I can actually understand why in this case, because it's really strong, and it's actually fun. If you passed them over, maybe you did yourself a disservice. If you have the original use in the Robots in Disguise line, then, well, you know how this works, and that was fantastic too. If you never had any of them, maybe he's worth checking out, because as we all know, new isn't always necessarily the best. Sometimes jewels are found in the days of the past. Yeah, I know that sounded deep, right? Anyway, that's about it for me and for Bumblebee. Thanks for dropping by, giving me some of your very valuable time. You know that I appreciate it by now. Again, I'm going to say hit subscribe. Let me know what you think about this guy, and I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.